Hi, folks. I'm Kevin Eggleston, and this is the 227th Workshop. The Comedy Workshop is a feedback open mic where comedians have been given a topic, been given time to write about it, and then we now get to see all their hard work pay off when they deliver up to 5 minutes on a topic we've given them. After every comedian's set, we will give them some feedback, say what we liked, what we think might need to be improved, maybe some tags, and we'll just generally have some fun with the topic. After that's happened, we'll let every comedian do a set on whatever material they've been currently working on or would like to try out. Might be refreshing some new jokes, trying something brand new for the first time, or just saying some old chestnuts to get that feel good laugh inside of us. As always, we broadcast this on Facebook and on YouTube. If you are watching us live, you can always comment. If you want to leave a comedian a tag, some positive affirmations, maybe send them some money on Venmo so they can buy a cheeseburger. I don't know what you need to feel fulfilled on tonight's workshop, but I am here for it. As always, the Comedy Workshop is a safe space for comedy. What that means is that every comedian we recognize is trying their best to be the funniest version of themselves they can be. So if they say something that is offbeat or offensive or might need to be tweaked a little bit, what we will ask them to do is to remember that we do it all in the spirit of being funny. So we will try to help comedians find a better, funnier version of themselves. Whew, that is a lot of talking from me. I am excited to get into the joke portion of tonight. So we are going to turn it over to our first comedian of the evening, Eric. Eric, you got 5 minutes on your topic whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. Thank you. So my topic for the evening was voting, which I feel like has been a process that has not ended until, I don't know, 48 hours ago, maybe over here in the United States. I thought it was interesting to kind of do a little bit of digging and research on the whole process that it's started over 200 years ago and how far we have or have not evolved as human beings to take care of the voting process. Um, the first election had like 69 electoral college votes, which I feel like that would have been a great number to stop at. Because for so many fun reasons. Now we have like a random number, and it's just like, nobody wants to divide 69 into that number. That's boring. We could have just kept it at that. But I also found out too that George Washington had his budget campaign of only maybe a couple of £100, and not much has changed since the first election. He basically spent all of his money on booze, which meant buying drinks for all of his voters that voted for him. So buying votes has been as old as literally the tale of time when it came to doing voting and elections. So that's a nice little fun fact. Another thing that I do remember too about the about voting is that when you first had to be able to vote, you had to be at least 21 years old, which is the same age as drinking, of course, because George Washington can't buy booze for minors, or maybe he did and we don't know about it. So that was a requirement. You had to be male. You had to be white. You had to be Christian or Protestant. So I don't see any issues with that. Like, I mean, I feel like over the years, how much of that has actually changed. The only difference now is that the people you're voting for are a lot older, and they wish they were still 21 so that they could drink with their constituents and their voters and not die of liver failure. Because look at half of these guys that are not termed in. You've got the Senate, you've got Congress, and there's not term limits on these guys, and they're making a lot of money, way more money than George Washington ever made, or John Adams, or any other president. And that's a lot of booze. These guys can't handle it. Between the booze for Viagra, between the booze for their liver and their Viagra budget, they're gonna die like any minute. So we hope, but I feel like after you've been in politics so long, you had to have sold your soul to the devil, and that's why none of these guys die young, because they sold their freaking souls, like right off the bat. And the deal was, hey, you get to make the rules for everybody else. You get little to no consequences. People can call you names, but you're pretty much protected, and you don't care because you don't have a fucking soul. So it doesn't matter. I also found out that there's a little country in West Africa called Gambia, and the way they vote there is that, well, they really don't, in the traditional sense. They have a serious literacy problem there. So what they do is that they actually put pictures on beads or marbles of the faces of the people that you're voting for. And you pick the marble that has the face of the person that you like. You drop it into a bucket, which causes a bell to ring. And if the bell rings more than once, that's how the people know that you're cheating. Um, I'm not against this, honestly, because I mean, that takes counting. It just and the recounts is just like if you hear the bell ring more than once and there's one person in there at a time, that pretty much like wipes out the factor of the cheating factor. It's very low tech, which is easy to fix because if you try to vote now for people, especially the average age of the voter, is almost the same age as the people that are running the country, and so they're probably the only ones that can really relate to them. And so I feel like they're in the same boat. They're like, this person really gets what I'm saying, even when I don't understand what's coming out of my own mouth. And my liver can't handle booze like this person can, and they can probably afford more Viagra than I can, and then they can also help me buy more Viagra if I vote for this person, and I won't feel like such a crazy person. So, yeah, that's pretty much my whole stint on voting, guys. So thank you for your time.
All right. Nicely done. Let's get this gentleman some feedback.
I got 2 points. I thought it was really funny, the correlation between the voting age being 21 and the reason for that is so they can buy them drinks and buy their vote. I thought that was very smart. And then when you're talking about the bells going off, if we did that here, like I thought maybe you could add, like when it comes to cheating, it would sound like slot machines or because it would be going off so much. Very funny. Very interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought there was some fun stuff in there to look at. I think it's funny, like the change I noticed is George Washington waited. This is how you know he was the better person. He waited till after he won to buy people drinks. Now we just get them drunk first.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, make the best choice when you go in there. But also, I think it's kind of funny because you made the first election with 69 electoral votes. I thought that was funny because I was like, then it made me wonder. I was like, do you think they even knew? Like, do you think the founding fathers all were around being like, nice, dude, nice. Never changed this one.
Yeah.
Or they were like, oh, we should make a sex act based on this. I think you could almost turn into like, and that's where we got the term 69ing, where a bunch of politicians blow each other about how great they are. It also made me laugh because then I thought the first president had wooden teeth, and I was like, that probably is not his favorite position, or at least not his wife's favorite position.
It wouldn't be anyone's favorite position.
Yeah. And then
hey, George was kind of hot.
You made mention of the 21-year-olds voting. That was the voting age, and for the drinking. I also was laughing because I was like, well, but if you thought, 1776, well, 1783 or whatever, 86. I don't remember when the first election was. I teach high school English. I don't teach fucking social studies. I'm not a nerd. But the note I made was like, but if you adjusted their average age for like their life expectancy, that makes the like voting age like 400. So they just had to have like dead people voting. Everyone died at 16 back then. Yeah, and I thought it was funny just to make that correlation, like the booze and Viagra budget, as if people just vote purely for like who's going to give them the bigger, better erection.
Right.
Or who you're like, I think that guy, like, because when you look at Mitch McConnell, nobody looks at him and be like, I bet that guy has a turgid penis. I bet it just used to hammer in nails just because he's got so much money. Yeah, Christy is not appreciating that mental image. So,
hey, I do appreciate the 21-year-old thing. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they'd be like 35, 40, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, they'd have like 9 kids.
You gotta be 40 before you can drink.
Yeah. They earned those drinks back then.
Yeah, they got married like 14 and you couldn't even. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to move to our next comedian. Christy, whenever you're ready.
My topic was electricity. The electric company was all mad that I was having trouble paying my bill. Then they turned my lights off, which seemed like a dumbass move to me. Because if I'm having trouble paying my bill, it's not going to get any easier in the dark. They need to give us like a warning, like flicker our lights off and on, or hold up a flashlight and give us a 1-minute warning like the comic, or like they do for us comics. So we know that with static electricity, you walk over carpet and you feel a slight tingling sensation. Something painful is going to happen. So it makes perfect sense that all of our faucets and all of our knobs are made out of metal. Well, should we coat these things with a rubber sleeve? No. They like to feel like zap bugs. They feel like they're cheating death. Just put them on the shelves. Women look at losers and think that they can fix him. It's called potential energy. Kinetic energy is for moving to Connecticut. If you're getting married and you're moving in together and you're going to go shopping for furniture, don't forget to get an electric chair. There are 5 types of electricity: static, current, hydro, solar, and corduroy jeans. Electricity was once believed to be a moving fluid called humor, like humor. Now humor is charged jokes about moving bodily fluids. Do y'all want to hear a gas joke? Love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably crap. Silicone is used to collect electricity in solar panels. But when the readily available supply is exhausted, they will start mining Hollywood cemetery plots. They'll crack open the casket and find a skeleton with huge plastic boobs. They'll be like, "We struck gold, guys. This one's got big lips too. We can light we can light the new football field." Okay, so some guy touched 2 pieces of metal to to a dead frog's leg, and he made it jump. And ladies, this led to the eventual invention of the double D battery. And that's why we love science. Men, Viagra is using the technology to come up with a little something for you too. Let's just say you'll be ready when she says jump. It'll give your sex life a little spark. Static electricity gathers in one place and builds up. And it happens when you rub 2 things together, which makes me wonder, men, what happens when your balls touch the zipper? Is that why y'all drip pee on the toilet seat? Women, we are just almost perfect. Women on long road trips cause the majority of gas pump fires. If this happens, don't touch the gas handle. The fumes will burn off. Grab your kids out of the car and find the emergency gas shutoff. And then if you like, wake your husband up. Get someone to honk their horn and maybe try to get his attention. And that's what I got.
All right. Nicely done. All right. Feedback for Christy. So I love. Go for it, Eric.
I like the bit about when she got into men having potential energy. I was kind of waiting to maybe have you roll off of that a little bit more. Where the potential energy could come from. He's at his full potential because he's got negative debt. He's got negative credit. He's got negative job security. There's so much potential there, and I can fix that. You're the positive ion. Recharging his negative potential to turn things around for him. When you mentioned the electric company calling to shut off your lights, I thought, once you mentioned, now that I can't, it's really hard for me to pay the bills now if it's in the dark. I imagine you going ahead and lighting a candle by accident, and then the whole place burns down, and you're just like, well, try getting your money now, electric company. no, there's nothing here. Don't bother turning the power back on. There's nothing here anymore. But yeah, overall, yeah, I did enjoy it. So I liked talking about the different types of energy, the corduroy bit too, jumping in there with the being the type of electricity, corduroy. I think maybe I got it, but just because I was barely paying attention. But I feel like sometimes audience members need a little bit more help as far as like the subtlety with the frog's legs and the D batteries. Don't be afraid to go further with that to make it more obvious for them so that they catch it faster if that makes any sense. So and that's
Okay.
all I got.
Thank you.
I really dug the volume of puns you were able to pack in there. Yeah, I liked the potential energy one, and then kinetic energy. I thought that was just kind of a fun little twist on words, so I appreciated that. When you talked about them like turning the lights off so you can't see if you paid the power bill, I thought that was a clever twist. Then I was laughing because I thought to myself, like, do you think the power company, like, they could go further if they wanted you to pay the bill? Like, what if they made it so you couldn't turn off the lights? Just like they start getting real like Guantanamo about it, just sleep deprivation and torture. Just play Panama at you nonstop.
That's funny.
There could be some fun stuff there. I like how you made the comment about moving humor, where you said we used to think electricity was a moving humor. I just thought of one of those cheesy jokes that a comic would throw out, like, that's why we charge you for the show. Yeah. So yeah, but again, nicely done with all the puns.
Thank you.
All right, other feedback.
I enjoyed that one. Get up there. Love is like a part of something. Those were very funny. It was like short. The other ones, I'm a little lost because I'm run out of energy because it's Friday and it's 10 in Montreal. But
Thank you.
All right. And we do have Clyde join us, so thank you for that. All right. How's it going tonight, Clyde?
Well, I can't complain too much more than I normally do. So, not as bad as it could be. Yeah.
All right. So we are going to move to our next comedian. Whenever you're ready, Noelia.
it's my first time here, so I didn't know we need like a podcast about our topic. So my topic was ant farm, but for me it was hard to know what it is. Like if my aunt has a farm, like I don't know. After I realized what is an ant farm. Like, in South America we don't have ant house, like we just have a backyard. So anyway, that is my joke. I don't have any more. I found one in internet. It's not mine, but it's really funny if you want to hear it. You know who else can lift 100 times the body weight of an ant? Me. Okay, thank you.
I do appreciate. I like that both of those jokes. I love the idea of what you said. We don't have ant farms. We just have a backyard. I think that doesn't make all of our houses an ant farm at that point. Then there's such thing as killer ants, so that makes everyone have their own like little death farm. in like South Texas. And then the one you said about 600 times your body weight. Yeah, I always love that statistic about ants lifting so much of their body weight. And it's like, yeah, because they don't weigh anything. It's impressive if I can lift, 5 times my body weight. An ant weighs nothing. 5 times nothing is still nothing. So, all right. Other feedback or where would you folks take an ant farm bit?
Everybody.
I was at ant farm.
Sorry, one more time. We had you on mute.
My grandpa had 8 daughters, so his house was an ant farm for me. All my aunts.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Other folks, feedback or where would you go with that joke potentially?
That's a toughie. I'm not sure where else where I would think to go with that other than I was thinking of Animal Farm. Just think of like all the different types of ants. You got your army ants, your fire ants, you got water ants, and any other type of ants you could make up. You got your hero ants, you got your extinguisher. I don't know. I just seeing how they would interact with each other, kind of like Old MacDonald had a farm, but it was an ant farm.
Yeah, I'd like realistic ant farm where like a paw gets trapped under a tractor and loses a leg, or like realistic ant farmers they sell out to Monsanto because of a bad season. I don't know how you do that, or a tornado hits and it's just you with a hairdryer.
I imagine for an ant farm, if they had some type of family reunion, it's basically crashing a human's picnic, and that's their version of the harvest. Just taking all their shit, breadcrumbs, fruit, whatever they can get off of that blanket that's on the ground or off the table. They're like the worst type of farmers because they don't really do any of the work. They just, take humans' food and shit. That's like their version of farming. It's like, they see the red and white blanket coming down. They get all excited. They take off their hats and they get all sweaty and excited. And they're like, "Oh, I smell sugar. Let's get our asses over there." And it's another harvest day. Like harvest day for ants is like whenever we show up with food, and that's their version of harvesting. But outside of that, for ant farms, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, to tag on to that, like I think whoever invented ant farms hated farmers because those ants don't make anything that a farm would make. They just steal stuff and give it all to one lazy person sitting in a room pushing out babies. Like, I think that person hated farmers. That's just there. Like, it's some person in New York City being like, yeah, that's what Oklahoma's like. Sorry to our person in Oklahoma. Didn't mean to pick on your state, but yeah. Or you could I could see little ants. Like, what if they want to be ant ranchers and they just have little cows? But yeah. All right. So Clyde, since you joined us a little bit late, is it okay if I'll go and then we'll give you a chance to jump in? Give you a little.
By all means. Oh, right. One other thing I just want to say, maybe with the whole ant farm thing, it's like maybe you could say something along the lines, it was the worst Etch-a-Sketch that you ever had.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, nicely done. I like that one.
All right, that's all I got. Sorry. That's like.
Let me get my timer set up. So my topic was sympathy. And I gotta say, I never understood that there was a difference between a get well soon card and a sympathy card. I thought they were interchangeable. It just meant like you were more sad that somebody wasn't feeling well. So I sent one to my mom when she was in the hospital. And the day she got it, she called me back and she goes, "You need to tell me right now how sick you think I am." And that's when I learned there was a difference. And honestly, like, I don't even understand sympathy cards as a concept. Like, I don't know how much is the right amount to write in a sympathy card. Like, I can get a birthday card done. You can just write in a birthday card, "Have a happy B-day." You don't even have to spell out birthday all the way. You can't do that in a sympathy card. You can't write like, sorry, grandma's D-Day. All right. Like, people know that's not right. But you also don't, like, you can't write too much in a sympathy card. That's the problem. Because, like, if you write too much, you're just asking them to relive their trauma. And I don't think that's fair. You're just like, I'm really sorry your grandma died of explosive diarrhea. She didn't really deserve to go out that way, just lying in a pool of her own waste. Really sorry that happened to your 97-year-old grandma dying of chronic explosive diarrhea. Like, you have to send a trigger warning with your sympathy card at that point. I don't think that's right. I also don't ever understand how to properly express my sympathy. I like, my wife has to mind me when we go to funerals. She has to really watch me because she likes to remind me that, like, Kevin, people have emotions and feelings, and you don't have either of those things. And I like, it's because I don't understand being sad. I just want everyone to laugh all the time. So whenever somebody like tells me they're at a funeral, they're like, oh, we can't believe he's gone. I just say, hey, he's in a better place. And also, we're all already feeling the impact of his loss. Because didn't traffic feel a little bit lighter today with him gone? Which, no matter how well I time that joke, has never gone well at a funeral. I think it's partially because, like, our the things that we say to people when we're feeling sympathetic are they're pointless. Like, we just say things like, I have the deepest sympathies for your loss, or my deepest condolences, which I think is a useless statement. I don't think that you can judge a depth of your condolences, because what if I have 0 condolences? I'm just giving you 0 of how bad I don't feel that your grandma died. All right? That's not exactly a fair statement. That's like saying, to the extent that I can feel joy, you've made me feel happiness. That doesn't mean anything. It's still a zero-sum game. I have 0 emotions when somebody dies. Again, like, all I say is less of a line at a certain point. I have a seizure disorder. I was diagnosed with a seizure disorder when I turned 21, and my family didn't have a lot of sympathy for me. I think it's because they didn't understand it. Their immediate reaction to try to perk me up from finding out I can't be around strobe lights for the rest of my life was to book a trip to Disneyland. Yeah. Turns out they stick strobe lights on everything. For some reason, they're like, you know what a small world needs? A fucking rave at the end. They'll just do that. Glow sticks for everyone. Like, it was terrible because I had to wait outside. That didn't cause them to cancel the trip. It just caused me to have to sit outside while they all went on Space Mountain for 7 times. Okay, do you know how bad it was that the Make-A-Wish kids were picking on me during that whole process? They're just like, oh, we got cancer, but at least we can go on this ride. Woo, log flume. All right, that's about all I got on sympathy.
Very funny.
All right. So, feedback whenever we're ready, or who would ever like to start us off?
I was hoping you would kind of go into what your funeral would be like. Like, maybe you would plan it like a roast or something. I think it'd be a good time for everyone who shows up. I just got a feeling. I don't know. Sorry, you'll miss it. But and then the deepest condolences. I had friends whose parents died, and until one of my parents died, I had no idea what that felt like. Like, oh, I'm sorry for you. Like, I didn't realize, like, it really hurts for a good solid year, you know? And then the Make-A-Wish thing was hilarious.
Awesome. All right.
It was funny stuff, man. I really, really enjoyed the Disney trip with the Make-A-Wish situation. That's pretty good. I don't know why I feel like you can probably go at least like one more step into the Make-A-Wish situation. Like, you know, just I don't know where you can go, but I just feel like there's like one more step. Like, you know, besides them just bullying you, you know, maybe there was, you know, somebody there who you knew, or, you know, was the real. I don't know. I'm not funny this week, but it was good though. It was funny. With
tag it.
Huh?
I said I could tag it. You know, like I got my revenge on them by living to adulthood.
Ooh, see, there
dark,
you go.
Very mean.
That is so dark and brilliant. Yes. It's like, yes, this is the only time you ever got to get back at your bullies. Yeah. But not living a successful life, just living a life. Wow. But yeah, that's pretty good. You're welcome.
Thank you for giving me permission to make fun of kids with cancer.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know what with sympathy. To me it's one of those words. It's just a weird word. Sympathy, because pathy, that's like a psychosis of some sort. So like you're simulating psychosis by pretending to feel something for other people, which you don't. Maybe, I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, I think it's literally like shared feeling is what it means.
Yeah, that's what it really means. But I mean, but pathy itself, it could be whatever. It's evil. It's tarnished. It's broken. Don't try to fix it. Just lean into that. And that's all I got right now. But it was pretty funny though.
Rock on.
I thought of when you said that you developed that sensitivity at the age of 21. I imagined you getting out of a lot of DUIs, because when you get pulled over and seeing all those flashing lights behind you to set you off, by the time the cop comes up to the window, they can't tell if you're really, really drunk, if you're on really bad drugs, or it's because of the seizures that are happening. So like you get out of the ticket and out of not even going to jail, out of sympathy, strangely enough, which brings you full circle. And like, if you would have understood what sympathy was if you weren't having the seizure by seeing the flashing blue and red lights behind you from getting pulled over, and you would have remembered those moments and remember what sympathy was about. But you were too busy having a seizure, so you have no memory of it. But you never went to jail, and you never failed a breathalyzer because you never had to take one.
Yeah, sometimes seizures make your breath smell like Jack Daniels. It's weird.
It's a side effect. Yeah, it's clear. Like,
yeah.
Yes, that's facts. I think I said that right.
Yeah, no cop's gonna call you on that. They're like, I don't know if that's true, but
and the smell of your taste buds combine, and like it's all kinds of fucked up.
All right, awesome. All right.
Me, so I enjoy it. I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Hey, I'll take that. All right. All right. So we will move on to our final topic word. Clyde, whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, before I start, I just want to say I apologize in advance for the things I will say. All right. So my word, the password is integer. All right. So integer, what I discovered in my research with integer is a terrible, terrible, racist, misogynistic, and homophobic word. Okay. I don't know if you knew this, but it is. Because integer in math, the word it means whole, unbroken. It comes from the Latin word that means unsullied, essentially pure. Okay, that sounds like male privilege to me. It's male privilege. The female version, Integra, that's a car. How come nobody else can get a car? I don't know. But every number, an integer is any number, any whole number that can be expressed that's not a fraction. Okay. So back in the 60s and before that, black people were considered 3/5 of a human being. So that means we didn't even qualify to be an integer. It's crazy. It's just terrible. It's just privilege everywhere. And in computer science, an integer can be expressed only as a binomial. It's binary. Therefore, it's against any non-binary couples or peoples. It's against the LGBTQI infinity and beyond. All right. It's against all of that. It's crazy. And then also, if you didn't know this, if you recognize, you take integer, you take the T out, put it to the front. What's it spell? To nigger. It's crazy. Craziness. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, his name means black egg. Black egg. Okay, put it together. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is facts. This is facts, though. So that's why when you get Schwartz to nigger, it's crazy. It's racist. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Integer. Never use integer. Don't vote for integer. Vote for integration, instability, imitation, imitable. I don't like integer. Just like I can't stand people who always try to make you think that they're good at something based on how old they were when they started. Those people, they get on my nerves. Like this guy, he was fixing my car and he looked a little puzzled. I was like, well, dude, are you okay? Which that happens. People get confused. It happens. It's okay. He's like, no, man, I'm good. I've been doing this. I fixed my first car when I was 14. I was like, bruh, that doesn't tell me anything about how good you are at this. My girl, she started fucking when she was 12. She still just lays there. Doesn't help me at all. Anyway, that's what I got. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm not funny this week.
All right.
It's a tough word. You did pretty good with it.
Integer is a stupid word.
I think we could all say like there should be a rule that you're allowed to like yell at Scott if he gives you a math term for a word.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was a math term or an English term, but your face didn't light up, so I figured it was a math.
Yeah, just died a little inside when I heard it. Is my nemesis, math. So yeah, feedback on it. That man, nicely done for taking an angle on a tough topic, and making it so it wasn't puns, or not to knock puns, but like you could have gone for some just cheesy math jokes and you didn't. So props for that. I think tanking it, the like term like almost like an angry rant was probably the best way that you could handle that. So nicely done. I like how you said also it's not a conspiracy theory, and then immediately got into like Arnold Schwarzenegger's name meaning black egg, and trying to then like with a straight face tell us you're not a conspiracy theorist. All right.
The fraction thing was hilarious.
Just be glad I didn't do my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Okay, that's just, you're welcome.
Well,
I
now we
apologize.
wanna
I interrupted you. What did you say? I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. The fraction tying that together was hilarious. Was really good. The 3/5 and the not being an integer.
Even 0 is an integer. Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry. This is just.
All right. Other feedback.
I'm cracking myself up by how not funny this is.
Yeah, I enjoy your performer. Like you enjoy doing even it's not easy. But I don't even know what the words mean, so for me it was fun to watch you anyway.
Thank you. Yeah.
I just think that it's a very tough, brave venture to take a very unfunny word and make and going revolving around it to try to do everything you can to make it funny, because there's nothing funny. Like if you just say that word, there's nothing. No one giggles and like, oh, integers, and think about how much they hated math class, as a child. But you think of that word and like, oh, there's nothing funny about integer, but it's like Kevin said, it's a very difficult word to do, and I wholeheartedly agree that you should yell at Scott if you get some weird ass math word like that. But yeah, good job.
All I can say is I'm willing to give it a shot. Again, like I said, I apologize in advance because that was terrible.
All right. So we will go back through. We'll start back with our rotation again. We'll keep the same order. Comedians, it is now your chance to work on any and all jokes that you want to work on. You'll have 5 minutes or up to 5 minutes for your sets. So, Eric, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I was very fortunate during this still continuing messed up time with COVID. I was employed the entire time, still am employed. In fact, I got a promotion and a raise, and I work in the beverage industry. So obviously, when people need to do something with their feelings, they either eat them or drink them, and that's where my industry comes in. And it was really weird because I felt like all these people are suffering. A lot of people lost their jobs or still don't have their jobs, and waiting on collecting unemployment because they haven't gotten anything yet, or they got that one stimulus check how many months ago? I don't even know. It's been so long. And I basically, was like, oh well, I'm making more money than I was before, and I'm profiting off of like this kind of like off of the sadness of people in a way. And I had never known, I never had felt, never knew what it was like to feel like a Republican until then. But now I do, and I don't like it, and I don't understand why they're okay with it. Like, just like I was like, man, this is what it feels like to be a Republican. No thanks, I'm good. You just you keep on making money, and everybody else is like, that's not even trickle down economics. That is like vicious cycle, disgusting economics. You know, you're working in the business, you're putting the product out there. It's like being a Republican like drug dealer, but the drugs are legal. I'm not getting paid under the table. Everybody needs to get their fix, and I'm not getting in trouble. So that's kind of weird. Another thing that I really don't miss, because I can't even imagine like being single is even trying to even attempt to date. What do? You can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? All you can do now is like exchange information and like do background checks on each other basically to see if not talking to an insane person or someone that doesn't have some kind of mess up medical history that am I talking to a sane person or are they calling me and contacting me from a mental institution or Zoom calling me from a mental institution? Did they escape? Did they just break into somebody's house and like hack their computer and now I'm Zoom dating chat call, whatever you want to call it, on the phone with them or, via Zoom or what have you. Because how much of anything is real anymore? I imagine if you had to do a background check on somebody, it's more of like a courtesy for the ladies to do that, because you want to get some kind of history of like, so what's this guy's dating history like. So she's got to like, call up, Dick Facts and be like, do you have a Dick Facts? I need to know where you've been. No, literally where all of you have been. Like your whole body and self, like who you've been around and who you've been in or not in, why didn't it work out, doing some research on that person. Um, Another thing that happened to me recently, I will say this, is that New Year's Eve, the very morning of New Year's Eve, not the evening, I was really set to say goodbye to 2020, just like everybody else was. I had my hands full. I was leaving out the door for work. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning. Leave pretty early for work, and I did not see this ice patch that was on the concrete steps, and I kind of just like bumped all the way down and then landed with the concrete stair jabbing me in the back, almost like a kidney shot, and I was on the ground for like 2 minutes. And I don't know, I'm not a hunter, but I feel like the noise I made when I hit the floor was very much like a deer in desperation that got shot, and the hunters hear that noise like, It's like when the hunters hear that noise, they know that they got a good shot and that fucker's not getting away. They're like, we got him. It's going to take us 10 minutes to find him, but we're going to get him. But finally I was just like, this is not how I wanted to end 2020. And so now, almost a week later, because it just happened a week ago, I've got this nice unwanted tramp stamp coming in on just the left side of my spine. So that's fun and weird. It looks like terrible art. It's not even interpretive. It just, the interpretation is that it looks like half of a mistake and that you couldn't afford the other half of the tramp stamp. And that's my time, guys. Thanks.
All right. Nicely done. Let's give this gentleman some feedback. I think there's a lot of potential in I would almost encourage you kind of pulled away when you said, I now know what it feels like to be a Republican. I almost would love to see you lean into that and be like, it's great. Like I now own an SUV. That's pretty exciting. I finally shopped at an Eddie Bauer catalog. That's nice. Those things are comfy. I know what a fucking Snuggie is. Just lean into some of the stereotypes of that as if they're good things. And then you can pull back out and be like, I'm trading basic humanity, but I have dollars, so that's good. I thought also the dating, you said dating, it's like you're in a season of a police procedural now. This is kind of what it feels like. Also, I just kind of laugh because if all you're doing is spending your time doing background checks and finding out if you're the person you're dating or talking to is a serial killer, congratulations. You're just doing what every woman that's ever dated someone has to do. Like they've already had to conduct those. It's just different for you now. Your New Year's Eve, I thought that was a good bit about making the sound that's a death rattle. And like that attracting hunters. Like you also now had to not only worry about did you break a bone, but if like Elmer Fudd's gonna come finish you off. And then a tramp stamp, I just made the little pun of like, or you just call it your Bambi bump now. I don't know if that's enough of a connection because it's not like it's a real thing, but that could have just been a funny play on words. But all right. Other feedback from other comics.
So, I was thinking that you kind of found out you were a Republican. Well, I'm assuming, I don't know, but anyhow, but something like, I found out that I am a Republican because my new hot tub, it says I'm not redistributing my wealth. So basically, you didn't give your money away. You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying. I thought that was funny in my head. I don't know. Maybe not when I say it out loud. And then the background check, then I thought it would be funny if like during the process, she got contacted by a contact tracer and that's how he gets caught cheating. Oh, you were with Amanda and she, gave you the germs. And then I would think it would be funnier if you did get a tramp stamp, like the full one, and it was like in the shape of something funny. I don't know, like a penis or something. Penis is just the easiest one to go to, but that'd be hilarious. I'm laughing at your pain here, but that would be funny. That's it. Very good.
I'm agree. Like the first one, I think is more funny if you go like that you like to be like, and go more deeply there. Like, and the last one, I didn't get it. Sorry. But when you say like everybody was, I was sad to leave 2020. Was like sarcastic or?
Oh, and you were asking what? I was asking that I was glad that 2020 was over. I was just kind of setting up the background. Yeah, because it was the last day of the year.
I understand, like you were. Sorry, I understand. Like you were sad to finish 2020 or something like that.
Yeah, no, I was happy to finish 2020. I was like, last day
Ah,
going to work, and then I was like, it just had to get one last jab in before the end of the year,
okay, okay.
and then I
So was me who didn't understand
no,
well.
that's okay.
So yeah, that's good. I enjoy it.
All right.
Well, I like like the dick facts. I like that. Yeah, I feel like you could play that up a little bit more. Or you could take it in a different direction, and like it could be like she's checking to see if your credit, even if your dick credit even qualifies to be with her. So like she's checking your credit. It's like Dickwifax, or TransUnion, Dick Union, Dix Union, or something like that. It's like another way you could try. I don't know. And then that noise that you made when you apparently were sport killed, that was a beautiful noise. That noise, I don't know if you practice that in the mirror
No,
or
that happened.
on the
That's
way to work or whatever.
that was a reenactment of what happened. That noise.
I mean, it had to be real. If you don't
Yeah,
practice, it
it
had
was.
to be real. That was
The
fantastic.
the reenactment was actually too loud because it had too much air behind it. It sounded more pathetic and less air supportive in the real situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that was fantastic. I wanted to hear more of the noise. Like if you can find another place to put that noise, I think that would be brilliant. That would be amazing. Because it was just I mean it was so on point. I don't even know how to explain how on point I felt it was. Like I thought I was hearing. Okay, there's a show. I don't know if you ever seen it called One Piece. You ever heard of One Piece? You ever seen that show?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
All right. Well, in there's a deer. I think he's a deer. So he's something like it's an antelope, a deer, or something. Who transforms into a man. And you sounded exactly like I would imagine he would sound if he had been shot by a hunter in the woods while he just dropped down to drink from a sunny brook. Like that's what I got out of what you did. It was just, I'm gonna stop gushing over this noise. It was fantastic. I'm done.
All right, thank you.
All right. So we will go ahead and keep moving. Christy, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this will be like my first time other than the topics to like try to stay on one topic for something I wrote for myself. Am I feeding back?
A little bit, but let me just see, make sure I do have echo cancellation on for you. So yeah.
Okay, am I better?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. So my friends have tried to recruit me into their Cougar Club. I'm the newest pledge of the Boy Toy Scouts. And lucky enough, this here club falls into our hunting grounds. And like all groups, they have their rules. They get theirs from Fight Club. The first rule of Boy Toy Scouts is that you must talk about Boy Toy Scouts to everyone. This comes easy for people like vegans or CrossFit junkies or people who give natural birth. My favorite rule is my favorite rule is word for word from the Fight Club. If someone yells stop, goes limp, or taps out, the fight is over. See, if you're a fully grown woman and you date younger men, then you're a cougar. But if you're an older man who dates younger women, you're a filthy animal. That's just gross. My friend is talking to a 28-year-old, which is like a 13-year spread, which is not great, but it's respectable. He told her to download Snapchat. She told me he sent her an unsolicited picture. I told her to show me that unsolicited picture. She told me that Snapchat deletes that unsolicited picture. It's just dick appears, then it disappears. And it's funny how us women hate getting these unsolicited pics, but how much we love to show them to our friends. We'll trade them in a card game we call Go Flesh. Like, do you have any bushy balls on an uncircumcised penis? No, Go Flesh. And if my new hobby upsets you, you'll feel better to know that the kind of guys that I would not have dated when I was young and hot are my targets now. And I'm going to shoot them. It's like the Hunger Games. I wasted so much time letting guys down gently back in the day. I had no idea that there was experienced, wild, sexy beasts waiting to pounce on them. I would have been like, go, you're cougar meat. Have fun, they'll teach you something. It's my dog, I'm sorry. Hey, take her to the room, babe. Yeah, I'm on my meeting. I'm about to... Sorry, guys. Anyhow, see, young girls are like new car dealers. And I sell used, pre-owned, low mileage. When they say your credit is no good, baby, I toss you the keys to your new ride. Well, new to you anyways. Take me for a spin. Just easy on the throttle, because I need to get that looked at. And let's see. If some of you are skeptics still, I know what you're thinking. Dating younger guys, they'll cheat. You're just a sugar mama. We don't deny this. But ladies, please, please, look into your heart. For $20 a day, you too can sponsor and keep a young college hunk warm and safe in your bed. And that's it. Sorry about my dog.
That's all good.
Oh,
All right. So feedback for Christy.
Okay, let me put her outside real quick. Sorry.
No, don't worry.
Go outside.
All right. Well, we're waiting for Christy to get back. How y'all doing tonight? Doing good? Having fun on the workshop?
Sorry about that.
Heck no. No need to apologize. We
Go to your
live in
room.
a Zoom comedy world, so we get it. So feedback. I love the fake commercial, kind of the act out for that. Like for $20 a day, you can feed. I would ham that up even more. Like your donation will go to make sure that he is kept and he is provided an Xbox or a PS5 of his choice. And helps him find a MILF of his choosing. Just keep going with that. I also love, like, you said cougar hunting season, except what there's I would say, like, you don't need a tag and there is no limit. Some things like that. I would just lean into some of those metaphors that you've already set up. So yeah, but I definitely love that little act out at the end. I think those are super fun. I just get even like a fake voice to do with it. I don't know, maybe Sarah McLaughlin plays in the background while you're talking about it. I don't know, what would be the song that they would have for, like, capturing boys as a cougar, or young men, I should say. It feels weird to say capturing boys. Yeah. Regretful things that we say recorded on workshops. Cool.
Something by Justin Bieber, surely, right?
Yeah. I don't know
Joey
what the
Star.
youth listen to. I don't pay attention to teenagers.
Yeah,
But
21. It's got to be at least 21. They got to be able to drink.
Oh, and vote, apparently.
Oh, and
vote.
Yeah. All right. I'll turn it over to other comedians for feedback.
So you made the car reference about easy on the throttle. I've got to get that looked at. Just sort of like, the used car salesman, every MILF or cougar has had a 69-point inspection for safety. And I don't like to think of my cougars as old. They're just gently used and previously owned, previously pounded, however you want to phrase that. But yeah, that's definitely one of the things that stuck out to me. Back on the sponsoring the comfortable stud to cuddle with, Kevin mentioned the Xbox. I figure something like ramen noodles, cheap beer, solo cups for beer pong, anything of the like. I don't know about the song though. That's still gotta work. Still gotta think about that one. What song would be playing in the background? That's a bit of a challenge right now. But yeah, good job.
So I have a question for y'all. And so that was harder for me than I thought it was going to be because, and like when I was reading it to myself at work or whatever, I could change the voices. Like I could I have a lot of trouble with like getting to a character. Do y'all have any tips on that? Like I don't feel like I was a character with y'all as much as I am in my head.
Do you know anyone personally that this reminds you of?
Oh yeah, these are my friends right now.
Channel them. I would start there with your friends. Like whoever, who's your closest friend? What's her name?
The closest one that's doing this, her name's Amy.
So channel Amy first. Start with her. What is it about Amy that is interesting to you? And just come like that. Like
Okay.
Does Amy yell when she talks? She sound like a duck. Like, I don't know. I'm just making up some stuff. Like it's just that's all.
Find her funny parts, yeah.
Yeah, I get what Clyde's saying. Yeah, to piggyback off of that, it's like anything like a quote unquote, for lack of a better term, a catchphrase that Amy says. When she's talking about a dude that she's after or trying to get, her hunting catchphrase, I guess. Little quips that she has, little terms or inside jokes that you guys do or whatever. Anything to channel Amy, basically, like what he was saying.
Yeah. Anything with that, like I had somebody explain it as it's a person or their personality amplified 1.3 times. Like you're just taking their personality and just taking it that next step further. Because we don't want Amy to sit in the audience and be like, hey, that's me. But then it's like, she's gonna see some of those behaviors, or is she gonna, you just amp them up to that next level? So maybe she's a loud talker. In your version, she's very loud. Or, maybe she has, I think Eric and Clyde Boyce pointed out, does she have a catchphrase? What is like an obnoxious version of that, or something that's going to get that across? So you're almost just her personality and that person's personality that you're kind of imitating amped up. That's why, like, when you watch male comedians that'll do, like, we all have a stereotypical women or woman voice. It's just, it's taking some part of that they're just amplifying. And for whatever reason, because I think it's most of us men are hacks secretly, we all end up with the same voice. So, you're just kind of just amplifying or just jumping up a little bit of a person's personality. That can be a lot of fun. Especially because it's different than your normal self. Like normal you seems to be pretty straightforward and kind of down home, kind of country-esque. Like we have the little bit of the drawl and the twang. So this character can now be that, but just amped up to the nth degree. So
Okay.
Have fun with it. And all of it comes too with practice. You said this was your first time running this bit on for a long time, or for a stage one time on one topic.
Yeah, because it's usually like, I'll think of kind of like one-liners, I guess you would call it. So I've never done like this. I might have one more question. So did this come through? Because it comes through great on when you're texting it. But did y'all get Dick appears, disappears, but it sounds like disappears? Did that come through? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was gonna, but okay, good. Well, thank y'all.
Oh, real quick, before you log off, no, I wanted to say that Cougar, like the whole idea of Cougar Club, the way you present it, I dig it. I was just really digging that whole thing. And Boy Toy Scouts, fantastic. Only thing I would say with those is when you say them, I just want more energy, more enthusiasm. That's really it. And I get that, this is new and everything, and I'm sure it'll come, but it just, that was my only thing about that. And that when you were talking about all the people you tell, oh my gosh, that was so funny to me. There's a part of there where you were talking about, you said there was a 13-year age difference. You said it was respectable. So what? So how was that respectable? Was it respectable? Like you said, it's not great. It's respectable. It's respectable. It's like, 13 years. You could have gone lower, or is it 13 years? Like, that's close enough. Like, I was trying to understand what you meant by respectable with that.
I had to pull some of it out for time, but like one of the jokes I have a little bit earlier that would have been in there is not. I call it more of the weaker ones. Not that any are great, but it basically says that like this 39-year-old was trying to hook up with a cougar, and I was like, well, you couldn't even be. I mean, no one would even think you were my son or could be my son or something like that. So that was the gauge is. I guess what the joke was trying to say, that the gauge is that in order for it to be a good catch, people have to be able to say, well, he's young enough to be your son. So, you know what I mean? They got to have that.
Okay, so it's like 13 years. Like it's respectable, but it's not the ideal. It's not
Right.
in that sweet spot.
It could be like at least 16 or 17. Like you could get pregnant. Well, I guess you could get pregnant at 13, but yeah, he's got to be able to be your son.
Right. He's got to be, two dance eras after.
Yeah. That's funny.
Okay. All right. Now I just wanted to make sure I understood that. I feel like that'll be important for the audience to know that, so they know exactly where you're coming from, so they can jump on board, because it's great stuff. I mean, that whole thing is dope.
Thank you. Just got to put some personality in it.
I think it's a nice topic to do the whole 5 minutes. Like, I just wanted to know more about it. Like, it's really interesting the way you do it. So I really like it.
Thank you.
He mentioned dance eras. It also made me think of how many presidential administrations have they been around for versus your friends. Like how many times have they been able to legally allowed to vote as opposed to your friends? How many years they've had a driver's license? Anything like that. Like what was your graduation song? Shit like that.
The time of my life.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm like, wouldn't it be? I could just see you, like, if the person only likes like different reboots of a movie, or like they like the new Footloose, then they're old enough for me to date. Or if they don't know that Footloose is a remake, then I'll date them. Using that as your barometer.
Or their favorite Disney movie growing up. Like,
yeah.
That's funny.
Favorite Disney movie is Avengers.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, nicely done. All right, we are going to keep moving. All right. Well, whenever you're ready. Oh, we got you muted. Let's unmute you there.
So, yeah, my name is Noelia, but how English people call me Naomi. Francophone people call me Noel. Latinos call me Mamacita. So it's more easy. When I do a show, the host always asks me if I'm new in town. Funny, because it's like 15 years I'm living in Montreal, but I know it's because my accent. But anyway, I'm not gonna get better because too sexy.
That's cute.
And my friends are telling me like, oh, now you have an accent and you're gonna be famous like Sofia Vergara, like Salma Hayek. And I say, yeah, sure. They are famous because their accents. Sure. So Lucky me, I'm white. So when I go with job interview, people is really happy to see me, but as soon as I start talking, they are disappointed. But at least I give them some minutes. Um, so what else? What else? I forgot my line. Yeah. So well, I love doing comedy. People is looking at me like, oh, people think that is hard for me, but actually, I feel bad for you because you really need to take up attention what I'm saying to understand the joke. Um, so um, I'm proud of myself because I came out of the closet few months ago. So now I'm a feminist. Um, you say why so big deal? Well, I'm a Latina, so I'm a disappointment for my family right now. Like they know now I'm gonna never get married, but they prefer I'm gay that I'm a feminist, basically because if I'm gay I can get married, but if I'm a feminist, so but I understand. I mean, it's even hard for me being a feminist and not a lesbian because I hate men but love dicks. So I have some issues there. Um, but actually, I've been married 10 years, um, and I was really young, 12. So I was very happy when I got married because you get married with the love of your life, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna make love with him every day. But after 10 years, it's like you have this food you really love, but imagine you love steak, but you're gonna eat steak for 10 years every day, every day, every day. So yeah, so I got divorced and I'm a vegan now. So yeah, and we're just talking about what is happening here in Montreal right now. I don't know if you know, but now we have more restrictions. But the good thing is now I know how to write and how to pronounce curfew because I never need to use it, right? So I just learn a word. So yeah, this is me. Thank you.
All right. Nicely done. Let's get you some feedback. So first off, I think there is a lot of fun stuff in there. I think you could have a ton of fun playing around with that perception that people have when they first meet you. You said a joke that I thought was a really good start because you said like when people see me at a job interview, they get really excited, and then I talk, and they're so I just laughed because I thought you could do a callback to earlier.
Yeah,
You said,
actually,
oh,
I have a joke that I haven't say it. That's why I got lost because after that, I always say like when white people hear me, they say, "Oh, you look so white, but you sound so weird." yeah, because actually I'm pretty.
Yeah. I thought you could do a callback too, because you said earlier, like you started with a great rule of three joke where they think it's Noel, and then and if a Latinx talks to me, it's Mamacita. I thought that was great. I think you could do a callback where you're like, they think I'm white until I talk, and then they're excited because they think they're getting a Noel, but then when I talk, they're actually getting Mamacita. I thought just setting up that callback could be really kind of fun. But again, I think there's some great stuff in there. I like the build up to your closer about steak, and now you're a vegan. I think that the kind of deadpan way in which you deliver that really undercuts the metaphor, it sets up the metaphor that you've used. So I think that was kind of a fun play on words. So I'll turn it over to other folks.
So there's like a million things. That was so funny. There's two comedians that you remind me of. The one that stutters, I forget his name right now. And then Don. So when you talk, we are listening to every word. And so, like, if you ever came up with something and you said, "Well, how do you say?" And get the audience involved, they would love that. Just listening to you is so fun, and like we want you to get it out. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing I thought that you could do that, like, I don't know that anyone else could do. You could make up something totally ridiculous, and we would love it too. Like if you just wanted an answer for something and you have a problem and you just made something up, like, we're gonna laugh just because your voice is so pretty, and so you could get away with just like nonsense answers. But like when you said your voice is too sexy, and you said, I was thinking, if she ever had a bill that was running late and she got a hold of a dude on the phone, like on the telemarketer, he would totally give her as much of an extension as she wanted. So you could use that to your thing. And then I also thought it'd be funny if you had something where you could say, like, I understood what someone was telling me, but I pretended not to because, you didn't want to deal with whatever they were talking about. And then the feminist thing was hilarious. Like, I could only imagine like a huge group of straight feminist Latinas. Like, that would be awesome. I mean, we got a lot of it going on in down here in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City really has a lot of Hispanic culture. So I've seen that here, but yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and then see. Oh, so when you were 12, what did you register on your wedding list? Or what did you register for your gifts? Like, what would a 12-year-old pick when they get married? Like, I just imagine like Toys R Us popping up. And also curfew. When you learn the word curfew, you're like, what the hell curfew? I got married at 12. I've never had a curfew. So I thought that was kind of funny too. That was hilarious though. So funny.
Thank you. Actually, because when I say I'm married at 12, because I say, like, I don't want people start, make numbers with my age. Like, I've been married 10 years.
Oh, so you look younger?
So I start saying, because it's different when you are with people that online. But I always say, like, no, don't make calculation. I married too young at 12. Like.
Oh, I got you. I see what you're doing there.
First time that I start doing this, some guys, like, after the show is like, oh, really? How old are you? Like, I'm start calculating if you got married at 18, you are. So I got this job fixed after. So I say, don't do calculations. I married too young and 12. So I'm 25 or something like that.
Oh, that's cute too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought, just like Kevin said, like there was a lot of funny stuff in there. Like the whole, the Mamacita, that was great. And say you're too sexy, that's great. When you get to that place where you're disappointed, I just want you to play that up more. just a little bit. But other than that, I mean, that was pretty good. When you got to the part, and Kevin touched on this, when you got to the part where you were saying, how when people see you walk in, they get happy when they see you, but then, you start talking and then they're not happy anymore. I was thinking that you could say, well, my last job, I just kind of had to nod my head until I got hired, something along those lines. Like you just learned, but then also you could have the opposite situation where you walked into a job where there was a someone Latin who was doing the hiring, and they see you and they're sad, but then you talk to them and then they get happy. Like you just have like the opposite thing happen. I don't know. I think you could play with that. It's like, yeah, they came in asking for, looking to see Noelia, but then at the end of it, they're talking to Mamacita, like he said. And
I think it's real, right? It happened to me.
that happens real. See, that's great. And yeah, getting married at 12, that's funny. It's so funny. And I like, it's like, yeah, if I'm gay, I can get married, but not if I'm a feminist. That's hilarious too. That's all I had. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I like the setup for the name bit, the closet bit, the setup for the feminist coming out of the closet. That was great. The whole voice thing. I mean, we have to be forced to make sure that we pay extra attention so that we don't miss anything that you say. So that is a huge advantage for you. And obviously a lot of speaking your truths of things that happen to you and how immersive you are in your culture and how that affects everyday life for you. So it's great that you keep on that same path. So good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, nicely done. And how long have you been doing comedy, by the way?
I started in Spanish, and after English, and last year it's gonna be actually only 1 year, because last year I started doing in French, but they closed all the bar and everything. So yeah, I've been doing more in English and French last year.
Wow.
Rock on. Because that's always impressive to me when somebody is able to not only do comedy in multiple languages, but take some kind of unique angles. So that's great to also find out you're kind of just starting out that comedy journey. So nicely done.
Yeah, but actually, in Spanish, like I cannot use the same because cultural stuff. So I have a different set. In French, because culture in Quebec, I have some ads and different, like when I say the white stuff, some people get like offensive. They don't get the joke. So I needed to take it out in French. But I put another like more local joke. So I am trying like to adapt.
Cool. That's a good trait to pick up. Also, I don't feel like anybody in Montreal gets to make fun of anybody for an accent. So that's just a weird thing for them to have a hill to die on. All right. So I got a new dog during COVID, and I love him. I think he's the greatest thing. He's already made me stop believing in evolution. I watched him run and knock himself out by tripping over his own feet. Like, I don't believe that he is the apex predator of anything. I don't think he could survive for any sort of fitness. All right. I just think he's God's little Forrest Gump bumbling his way through existence is what I think. Like, we had to take him to the vet because he gave himself a concussion. All right. That's kind of scary. And like during that process, I was talking to the vet and I was making small talk, and I told her we did one of those dog DNA tests where we found out what breed he was. And because my wife and I are millennials and we don't really understand how money works. All right. Like we don't have health care, but we could have, but we decided to spend money to find out what our free dog is. All right. Like, I don't even know what my ancestry is, but I now know all the genealogy of my pet. All right. Like, and I'm all for it. Like, I just, like, my teeth feel a little bit loose. I just won't eat taffy for the month. All right. But I'm glad I know what my free animal is made out of. All right. Because I view that as a way to get out of conversations in the future. Like, that dog bought me a month of small talk at least every dinner party. But I was explaining to the vet what he is, and it turns out he's a little bit of everything. I was like, oh yeah, he's got lab in him, he's got pit bull, he's got a little bit of husky, he's got cane corso. And she goes, oh no, I don't like that he's got cane corso in him. I was like, all right, that doesn't change anything. You know that, right? She's like, no, you don't understand. Cane corsos are the only dog besides wolves that kill for fun.
Oh.
And I was like, how do you know? Right? How do you know a dog kills for fun? All right. It's a dog. They are made of unrestrained joy. All right. Like, I've watched my dog eat poop with enough happiness on his face to make me wonder if maybe I'm wrong in not eating poop. All right. That's just how my life has gone. I don't think if a dog killed somebody with happiness, they wag their tails at everything. All right. So you didn't have like an exit survey to check my dog's happiness. All right. How would you even know what a depressed dog looks like after a murder? Do you take up drinking and Xanax? I don't understand. Also, you can't throw out that my dog might be a murderer and not expect that to change the relationship I have with my dog. All right. Now I'm afraid every time he kisses me, he's just like trying to soften me up to go for the jugular. I can't have that on my conscience. Now I'm worried every time he tries to break into the bathroom, it's just so he can get in there and be like, no witnesses, and snap my neck like he's a little dog wick. All right. I don't need that. Also, I thought it was really unfair that she turned the conversation to eugenics that quickly, as if it was my dog's fault that his race was apparently a bunch of murderers. I was like, is it because of my haircut? Is that why we're doing this? Is this why we felt comfortable? Do you think I'm like hiding a neck tattoo under this beard? All right. I wondered why your waiting room was full of German shepherds. I thought they were good boys. Turns out apparently they were proud boys. All right. I was like, you don't have to take this kind of slander. So I got my dog, David Barkowitz, and we went home. I don't know if you can tell, my comedy career is on fire. It's been really great. I did a show, and after the show, I got a message from a guy on Instagram, and he said, hey, Kevin, I think you're really funny. And I said, hey, man, great. I really appreciate that. And then he said, you're really funny. Here you go. And he sent me a picture of his dick. And I was like, all right. And he goes, I thought you were great. And I said, well, you could have just laughed. All right. Like, I was flattered, though. I was so thrilled to get a dick pic, and my wife couldn't understand why I was okay with that. And I was like, you don't get it, honey. Do you know how great that is? I'm so funny. This guy treated me like every woman on the internet. I think I'm doing great in comedy. Also, I had to admire like the hubris this man had, that he thought his dick was some kind of present, like a reward. Like, I just can't imagine the kind of like penis pride you have to be like, you're welcome. This is a job well done. Like, can you imagine thinking your mushroom head is a gold star for a hard day's night of work? I don't understand that. I don't know why I made a Beatles reference at the end there, but that feels good and dated. All right, that's my time. Thank you, folks.
Yay.
All right. So, feedback whenever you folks are ready.
So you got your dog's genealogy, and like I would be thinking, oh, he's got to be related to like Lassie or Rintintin or at least one of the president's dogs. No, kind of find out he's from this killing breed. And then so you said he killed for fun, and then I thought when you were talking about kissing or the kiss of death, and now you're afraid of puppy breath. And then when you got the dick pic, did it look like the penis was smiling, or? Yeah, it looked like it was smiling.
Yeah, you should just. I could you at least drawn like a smiley face on it. Yeah.
Yeah. It looked happy. That's what I got. That was cute. I like the dog's name too. That made me laugh. I don't know why, but it did.
If you like your serial killers, it's a good name.
That's funny.
David Berkowitz was great because it's also the son of Sam Killer, the guy that thought dogs talked to him. It's very multi-level pun.
Oh, I thought you said David Barkovich.
Yeah, David Barkowitz. That would be the dog's name, but David Berkowitz was actually a serial killer.
Well, the smart people will get that. I just thought the name was funny.
Smart people or most white women. They love their serial killer dramas.
Very cute.
All right. Any others?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I like the way you put like jokes inside other jokes, like when you are talking about your dog and you talk about millennials. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Okay, awesome. All right.
First of all, tell that lady that a wolf is not a dog. All right, that's the first thing. She needs to learn her aminals because clearly they're in two separate sides of the alphabet. Anywho, when you got to the dick pic part, I thought that was pretty good. I think you could add some more to that, like because I always find it funny whenever one of the sexes is trying to explain to one of the other sexes something that they don't understand because they don't see it the way the other one sees it. Like so going more in depth on, to your wife, why the dick pic was an amazing triumph that should actually be celebrated, throughout the house. Like that's amazing because that's a strong reaction. Nothing says I want more than a dick pic. Like no guy has ever sent a woman a dick pic that he didn't want to see again. Like that level of devotion, that's amazing. Like if more women sent dick pics to men, imagine how great the relations would, like, maybe not go that far, but but you get my point. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The point is, I would like for you to play that up more because that to me is it's a very interesting dynamic. It's like, yeah, he liked me so much he sent me a dick pic. And it's like I thought the next time I promised the next time he comes to my show he gets a lap dance, like anything. I'm just saying, like that, along those lines. And I thought good.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I like the millennial bad with money, spent more money on genealogy than your own. So you have a better background of where your dog came from than you do. With the dick pic, I feel like you can kind of go a little bit further and be like, kind of contemplate like, how do I respond to that after you receive it? Be like, well, how do I play this? Do I just text him jokes? Do I send him a pic back? What happens next? It's like you're excited about it, but also confused because you don't know how to play it. And so having that exchange with you and your wife, and like, why do you enjoy this? And just like, well, if you were me, if you told him a joke, he'd probably send you one too. Maybe my wife's jealous because she didn't get to tell that dude jokes. And now she's not getting a pic from him. You can. There's many angles there you can play with that on. But I enjoyed it.
Okay, awesome. All right, and we will move to our final comic of the night. Clyde, whenever you are ready, you are good to go.
All right. Thank you for that warm introduction, Kevin. Just going to start out by saying, these days with dating, Well, not even just dating, but like these days, as a person, like you have to have certain things in your house, whether you live alone or if you're just pro-life. Well, as a gentleman, you have to have a handkerchief, some nice belts, and clean rope because you never know when someone is going to show up at your house and be into BDSM, right? And so if she wants you to choke her and all you've got are your hands, you're probably going to jail. It's just the way it is. You're probably going to jail. Like if you use a handkerchief, you use a handkerchief to stop the rope burns. Okay, it's how you hide evidence. Okay. Now the thing about with all this, you got to be careful not to cut off the blood supply because if you cut off blood supply to your body long enough, that part of your body will die. And I think that's why women live longer than men because it's women's fault because I think it's because of sex. Okay, because when a man has sex, he has to steal blood from one part of his body and give it to his dick. He has to play Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the pussy. And when parts of your body go without blood for too long, they die. It said that, but and that's why it's women's fault because women are always time shaming men. Oh, that's all you got? Well, my last man could go all night. Yeah, and he'll be dead in the morning. Okay. One day he's just going to be having sex, and his leg is going to fall off. He told you his leg was numb, but you said, "Oh, just like that. Oh, just like that. Oh, just like that," for an hour. All right, we're just trying to survive out here, but y'all want to kill us. All that damage over time adds up. Man is going to have a heart going up in an elevator because he's thinking about going down. All right, and if a woman loses circulation, she can just use sign language to say, "Untie me." That's it. By the way, that looks like this. That's it. This looks like, well, technically, if she's being tied up, it's more like this. Like that. Okay? But if you're a man, if you're a guy, and you're losing circulation, you have to say something stupid like, will you marry me? Because she's going to take at least a minute to think about that when you say it. Or you got to say something like, okay, let me eat your ass. Like something like that. And she'll get out. You'll be able to save yourself. Okay. Now you could ask her if she's got any friends, but let's be honest, if that were really an option, they'd already be there. Any other question? She's not going to care. I think that's all I'm going to do. Yeah. That's all.
All right. Feedback on bondage. Who'd care to start us off?
So, if you would have started it out like, "Hey, this is a look into my life," I think I would have caught on a little faster, I guess. And then the tie-up thing was hilarious because I'm sure a lot of people more than I would know about are into that, but like I wouldn't like. I don't know. I thought it would be like if you were telling us your secrets would be kind of interesting. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like you started off because like pretend like we didn't know about it, but because yeah, that's funny though. The little password was hilarious.
I like the juxtaposition that you go between. This is how a woman handles or interacts with this situation. This is how a guy has to, and how like presenting the unfairness of it, especially since your power dynamic is usually like you revert. Oh God, I use just so many douchey English teacher words to describe saying like, I like the way you did that. But the juxtaposition between the power dynamics and your gender and structure was very nice. Good job. But nicely, yeah, I just appreciated that difference. So I like how you kind of walked back and forth explaining the two. I also liked just the idea of having, like, instead of a safe word, a safe sign. I think that's just kind of funny. But, like, men already can't read body language. You think they're going to pick up on sign language?
That's funny.
The Robin Hood part was really funny. Like you're taking from this to there.
Yeah, I like the whole like just like the having your potential bondage preparation kit, basically. It's like you're an adult Boy Scout now, and you have to make sure to be kind of like prepared for anything. What if we have to what if there's a fire and we have to put it out, or what if you're into like setting something on fire? That person's a pyro, so you have to like be able to rub two sticks together, and need to use your stamina for that or something. As about after it's over, I'm cold. Well, I'm cold too, but what are we gonna do? I'm too tired to move my body now to try to build you a fire because I'm fucking cold. Just give me the blanket back, or whatever it is, But yeah, the safe word stuff, the sign language, tapping out, that whole bit, everything was, spot on.
Thank you.
All right. So, did I cut someone off? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Kevin, I appreciate your English words because my mother was an English teacher, so all of those douchey words, those are my words.
I didn't mean to give you like flashbacks to you're like, oh no, not these. I thought I got away from them. But yeah. All right. So this brings us to the part of the show where folks are able to plug their pluggables. So we'll go in the order that we did our sets. So, Eric, where can we find you? Where can we see you? All right. Speaking of safe signs, we're muted, so we can't hear you, Eric.
Sorry. So my Twitter handle is right there on the screen, and you guys can find me on Facebook, Eric Uribe, and then I've got my Instagram and SoundCloud right there. So there's that, and I'd say you catch me at a show, but we're shut down.
All right. Christy, where can we find you? Where can we see you?
I am deep in practice and exploring. I don't have anything cool like that going on, but I do appreciate y'all's time.
All right. Awesome. Noelia, where can we find you? Where can we see you? There we go.
Facebook and Instagram, my name and my last name. I'm the only one, so I'm in Montreal with the curfew, so nothing to do.
All right. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kavin_egg. You can find me on a podcast that I host with my lovely wife, where we take the covers of movies we find on streaming services and try to guess what they're about. That's called By Its Cover. And then I host a bi-weekly comedy debate show where we pit 4 comedians against each other and they argue for our entertainment, called Some Questionable Content. So you can find me there. And Clyde, where can we find you? Where can we see you?
Well, you can find me on my Instagram. It's at the bottom under my chin. At the Real Clyde Williams. I put comedy clips, videos, pictures, and artwork actually sometimes. Then as far as where you can find me other than that, usually on a street corner, just yelling out random nonsense in Shreveport. So, yeah.
Shreveport.
All right. Awesome. All right. For the workshop, this has been our 227th episode. We'll be back again tomorrow night with more new comedians, more new topics, and hopefully less math words. All right. Good night.
Thank you. Nice to meet y'all.
Thank
You
you,
too.
everybody.